tactics.
Kyrie Irving with a player option for next season. Monday, he opts in.
Kyrie Irving was not able to land an extension with the Nets or a sign-and-trade deal with the Lakers.
This is, hey, trying to squeeze and get a little bit more money. If that's the Nets being a little bit unsure, what are amendments in your contract that we can make sure that you play a certain amount of games? The amount of disservice it would do to Kevin Durant, there is no way in hell Kyrie Irving plays for another team other than the Nets next year.
Madam Cleo on the show apparently last week. Keyshawn, J. Will, Max. It's presented by Progressive Insurance. Alan Hahn with Key and Jay. And yes, Jay Will said it, and so it is said. It is so it will be. Kyrie Irving opting in, not walking away from the $36.5 million with the Nets. And
Alan,
what a day it was yesterday.
Did you hear that? That was a whisper for somebody. I think it was from Jason Tatum. Kyrie to Boston. Hey, Kyrie, did you hear that? Oh, somebody from the Clippers just sent me a text. Kyrie to the Clippers, Key. Oh.
Key, it was yesterday was such a roller coaster on our group chat because we had such a great show planned for today with all the different speculation and so many different options, and your Lakers still being very much involved, and Brian Windhorst telling us that they are prepared. The Nets are prepared to lose not just Kyrie but KD. I mean, we're talking about a show of epic proportions, and then of course reality set in. Nothing.
Key. I thought he was getting ready to play. I actually thought he was getting ready to play sound. The way
I
he
was.
teased that
You're
thing.
the sound. You are the sound I needed.
No, when you said Windhorst, blah blah blah, I'm thinking you get ready to play the sound. That's why.
I addressed you. I said Key. I wanted to hear your voice and have you also because Jay was the one being reasonable. And we were trying to have fun with it. You were excited yesterday about the idea of Kyrie joining the Lakers, and that the rug was pulled out from under us, and now we've just got to talk about reality today.
He can keep it moving now.
Hon, I just got to tell you a quick story on the Zoom, since we didn't have the Zoom yesterday, which was a very good call, by the way, by our management. Good call, everyone.
Summer book energy, baby.
Yeah, summer book energy. Let's go all day. And Key and I were the only ones on the Zoom, and he's like, Jay, I think I know. I tried to tell you. I tried to tell you about this Kyrie Irving stuff. I tried to tell you. I said, okay, Key, okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, I followed the professionals in my business on the basketball side and kind of tried to listen to them. The Lakers certainly wanted to head in that direction. It was clear that they were the only team that was after Kyrie. In the end, wasn't nothing going to get done. Jay was right in this sense. Jay knows him. I don't know Kyrie. So Jay has a much better understanding of how his brain operates. And, going back in and opting in with the Nets is the best situation. It was either the Lakers or the Nets when you look at the teams that was floated out there as far as I was concerned.
Well, let's go. Let's just go back to Tuesday. Last Tuesday when we started, or you guys on your show, but all of us in this business started to speculate about Kyrie Irving and what was going to happen. And it's always fun to play this game. What can happen? Where could he go? I mean, I'm the idiot yesterday that was trying to convince Pat Costello and Alan Yates, hey, what if you traded Harden for Kyrie? Wouldn't that just melt the whole world down? Tim Bontemps was almost walked off the set when I brought that one up. But that's the kind of fun we have. And then there's Jay, who just keeps it level-headed.
There is zero chance that Kyrie Irving plays for another team next year other than the Brooklyn Nets. Wow. Zero. All this is fabricated. All this is, it's made up. To me, this is negotiation tactics. This is, hey, trying to squeeze and get a little bit more money.
All right, so Jay, what led Kyrie to this point? Because there was, at least from all the reporting, the thought of go ahead and find a better deal.
Yeah, go ahead. Kyrie Irving had no leverage in the marketplace, guys. So, I mean, you and I talked about this, Alan Hahn. 95% of the teams that he had listed on his list didn't have even cap space for it to even work out. So It was at the Lakers, and then if you're the Nets, are you realistically going to take THT, Austin Reeves, and try to get Russell Westbrook? Like that's what you're going to do? That's what you're going to get in return for Kyrie Irving?
Sounds good to Key.
Well, it sounds good for the Lakers. It don't sound good if you're the Nets. Like I told everybody on the text chain, I'm like, you guys got to stop eating this cheese. This is social media unveiling the negotiating tactics by Kyrie Irving. Like all this stuff was built up where at the end of the day, he was trying to secure a long-term deal with the Nets. But there's no way in hell this dude was going to leave $30 million on the table by opting out and signing a mid-level exemption for $6.5 million with the Lakers. Like, there's no way in hell. That's $30 million. And it has led me, after this whole thing went down, because I knew this was going to happen. I walked away yesterday saying, wow, okay, here we are. You tell me another team in all of professional sports that has more pressure on them other than the Brooklyn Nets. You have Kyrie Irving, who essentially is on a one-year deal, who then will have free agency next year. You have KD coming off an injury, but also watching Golden State win a world championship for their 4th world championship this past year. And you have Ben Simmons, who has not played basketball for a full year, who has had mental issues dealing with coming back and dealing with the public and the media. You tell me a team with more pressure in all sports than the Brooklyn Nets coming into this season to win a championship. I don't think there is one.
More than them, no. And that's a great question to ask. Let's throw it out there at 888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776. If you can name another team in sports, the 4 majors in North America, because if you start bringing up teams from all over the world, we're going to, give me college teams. Like, I get it. Let's go with the pro sports. What team? Because the money's involved in this, obviously the contracts and everything else, and the just the pressure that is on those that put these teams together. A team in pro sports that has the most pressure to win a title next year. You can also hit us up at Key, Jay, and Max. Go ahead, Key.
No, Jay, you said that Kyrie put the pressure on the Nets because of the extension possibilities. Are the Nets going to sign him to a long-term extension, or are we looking at basically a one-year tryout, and then we'll revisit it at the end of the season?
Key, we're on the same page now. I mean, that's the latter, man. This is a 1-year deal. This is, how are you going to handle this season? If random stuff comes up, are you going to be available for our team? Our goal is to win a world championship. And if Kyrie Irving is consistent with his efforts, which I think he will be, then I think they'll pay him a long-term deal if they get close. But a lot is dependent upon how it works this year.
So what if 2022 goes according to plan, right? Play the whole season, the whole deal. They sign it to a long-term deal. And then 2023, 2024, there's some stuff that comes up in the world as it does every single day. Now what? I mean, look, he's a hell of a talent. We'd have loved to have him walk on Venice Beach with no shoes on. But in the end, he probably made the best basketball decision for his career, which is staying with the Brooklyn Nets and finishing a deal along with Kevin Durant and Ben Simmons, because ultimately both of those guys needed be far away from the people that they won championships with, meaning that Kevin Durant needed to be far away from Steph Curry and company, and so did Kyrie away from LeBron James, because if you go back to LeBron James, the narrative would be you couldn't win, right, Jay, without him. And then if Kevin Durant goes somewhere else to a superstar like a Dame Lillard in Portland or whatever the case may be, you could not win without KD and company. So this is probably the best thing for both of them.
How about this, Key and Allen? Normal people keep the world going, but those who dare to be different lead us into tomorrow. That's what Kyrie Irving said to a reporter on his decision to opt in. So here's my thing coming off that, being daring.
So help me understand what he means.
I can't translate that, Key. I don't speak that Kyrie Irving language all the time. But if he had left Kevin Durant, as much as people say, well, LeBron James would have given him the best chance to win the world championship, can you imagine what the image of Kyrie Irving would have been after coming from Cleveland, then going to Boston, how that panned out in Boston, then going with his brother, a guy that they have been linked. Like Kevin Durant did not say anything out of pocket about Kyrie Irving this whole season, was loyal as hell to Kyrie Irving. If he had left and didn't try to come through for KD in the end, that would have been the biggest story of the entire offseason, y'all. Even if he had partnered with LeBron, but that knife he would have left in Kevin Durant's back would have been the biggest thing we were talking about.
That knife in KD's back isn't as severe as him, to me, going back to LeBron to win a championship, or KD going to a Miami or to a Portland or whatever, Allen, to try and win another championship.
A lot to discuss. And again, that quote that Jay gave you, which, I mean, so many people facepalm when they read it. Again, normal people. He always does this whole thing. Normal people keep the world going, but those who dare to be different lead us into tomorrow. See you in the fall. A quote he gave to The Athletic, who had the original story of Kyrie Irving staying with the Nets and daring to be different by making sure he gets $36 million. Keyshawn, J. Will, Max, brought to you by Straight Talk at the $45 Silver Unlimited plan from Straight Talk Wireless. All right, so there's another team that has a closing window to win a title. Yesterday, a potential move that could get them closer to that goal. We'll discuss that next on ESPN Radio and ESPN app.